guys. Not much going on. My dad is downstairs making a cup of tea. Okay. Get through the beginning. Not much is happening. Sometimes when there's people in the house, I'm like, I don't really want to do this video because they can hear me, and sometimes I feel like I'm getting judged a little bit. Because this has been us doing videos when you're only getting probably on average since I started 20-30 views. Of course, I deleted most of my videos, so maybe I might have got a few hundred if I'd kept doing them. I feel like maybe that I can give an insight which helps, which is probably the idea. I like this idea that, like, if you watch a video and you're like, oh, that was really beneficial to me, donate like €5 to a charity or something. Like, karma and merit's a very interesting thing. Like, if I had a lot of merit, I'd say a prayer, and I know what I'd do. I'd give like 1,000,000 tons to every PATS member so they could use on PATS stuff, but you can only use it for PATS stuff. And like, I give like 100 million tons to my mom, 1,000,000 to all my brothers, 1,000,000 to my friends in Donabate to be used on their soulmate, and 1,000,000 for their happiness, tens of million for my friends in Sutton, 1,000,000 tons for each person in Donabate. I'd 100% just use it for stuff like that, to give it away. I don't understand the whole merit thing. My idea was, if you do something good, it'll just come back to you, but you can kind of like accumulate it like money. Like, I come into stuff very late, in terms of, like, some people learned it when they're like 18 or 17, 19, learn it when I'm 27. But then there's some things that people only learn when they're 70 or 80. So I learn when I'm 28, you know what I mean? I'm 28 now, so yeah, I'd give like 1,000,000 tons to the Plum Village people, you know what I mean? And I don't like the whole karma thing, merit thing, where like you know what I mean? I just, for a long time, I was like, if you do something good, it doesn't accumulate like money, it just comes back and you feel happy in the moment, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. It'd be cool if you use like merit. Like, there's this jacket that was in Tommy Hilfiger, and I really wanted to buy it, and I didn't know the whole merit thing. I was like, I'll give you some karma for it. Like, obviously you need to buy it with money, so it's interesting, you know? But I came into realising that very late. Not much happening. Trying to finish the path to happiness, which is the Noble Eightfold Path, which the Buddha rediscovered. I think happiness is the path, like, because the path to happiness is the technique to find that happiness is happiness. It's like the way that Christ said, or Jesus said, was he laid out the path of love, which is just continuously, the path is loving people and accumulating understanding and stuff like that. Yeah, I think, the greatest skill you can have is enlightening people. One of the first things I read about Buddhism is that a fully enlightened Buddha, who has removed his false ideas and has a clear perception of what life is really like, has entered nirvana, full nirvana, and then it can attain a place in heaven, you know what I mean? But people, heaven is hell, hell is heaven, and then neither of them exist, you know what I mean? But there is a place you can go that there is huge happiness and not so much suffering. There is suffering, but not a huge amount. There's nothing you can do that, not even in heaven can you be happy constantly all the time. That's what our dreams are like. We want that, so we can be constantly happy every second of the day for the rest of our lives. But of course, happiness and suffering come as one. So happiness loses meaning. If you're just happy every day for 30 years, it loses meaning, but it doesn't mean you have to suffer hugely. If you can just really learn how to be with your suffering and to handle it, then you can have happiness, like, you know what I mean? I think you need to practice. Like, if you don't practice how to remove suffering, how are you gonna, or how to deal with suffering, how are you going to move on? Like, because suffering keeps coming up and you don't have a practice of how to deal with it. Like, Thich Nhat Hanh, he kind of was the master of dealing with suffering along with the Buddha, and they discovered how to, well, they were masters at contemplating suffering and learning how to deal with it in the present moment. Yeah, our practice is really important for young adults, just to, because of course we have anger, despair, and judgment, and desire, and greed, and stuff. So if you've no way of dealing with these strong emotions, these afflictions, how are you going to become? How are you going to attain? Be happy. You need to like quell the fires of these negative afflictions, and once you do, you'll be able to be happy, because it's hard to be happy when you have constant anger and stuff, like. Uh, it can all really be condensed. If you listen to Thich Nhat Hanh, he was maybe the bravest person of all time. He like if you listen to like I've listened to hundreds of his videos, and a few of them, 5 or 6 times, he always talks about the breath. You know what I mean? It all the source is the breath. The source of understanding life and getting through suffering is all about the breath. Like, it calms you when you transform your breath. You're transforming your character, and if you're transforming in the right direction, you're going to become happy. Like. So yeah. There's also something I've been studying. It's like when you're watching a video and you miss something, so you have to go back. This might sound prideful, but I think maybe in the story of Donabate and Christianity and maybe Ireland, they might skip past my part. They're like, we missed something there, so they go back, and then they're like, oh, this dude was someone who helped people and did good deeds a lot, you know what I mean? And was positive for his community. And that'd be nice, just for people to they miss my part and they rewind and they find, oh, like, this dude is part of the story, like. That would be beautiful. Another thing I practice, Fat Blue from Plum Village, he would say this thing about the skin. Like, we have this very thin layer of skin, and that's what makes us good looking, or whatever. But if you just remove this very thin layer of skin, it's just blood and mucus and pus and stuff, like. So it's very interesting. But everyone knows, I think, beauty doesn't come from looks. You know what I mean? Beauty obviously comes. Beauty obviously comes from this internal warmth and tenderness and gentleness. You know what I mean? So yeah, sure, that's it. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I still have the old Instagram going. Instagram isn't too bad. Like, you miss someone you haven't seen in a few years, and you go onto their profile, like, oh yeah, they're happy, they're doing all right. Like. There's a few nurses I used to know that I miss, which is fair enough. Uh, but yeah, I read something very interesting, and it's like, I don't know if it's true, but when someone has completely finished teaching you and they have nothing more to teach you, like, the powers of be will be like, right, we'll move you on to someone else. Like, so maybe someone is still in your life because they still have something to teach you, like. And it's usually your parents who are the ones who have so much to teach you, like. And then maybe when you move out, it's when they're like, yeah, you're fresh now, you're good to go, like. You know. Yeah, I think if you have some sort of injury or affliction or an illness or a fixed belief, I say practice non-attachment towards it. So just be like, yeah, yeah, you don't need to be around me. I'm kind of lessening my attachment to you, so you can just, do your own thing, and I'm not going to try and control you or anything. Yeah. So that's the video. Felt good. That felt alright. I don't think I was really projecting my voice, but hopefully you're able to hear me. And yeah, that's it. Have a fantastic year, month, week, and weekend or day. Okay, best of luck.